The Red Raiders learned math, history, science, and football, and where 3 generations screamed for a Red Raider victory over the Stingarees of Miami High. Dade County's oldest high school football rivalry, Miami Edison versus Miami High, every Thanksgiving night in the Orange Bowl. The final score always favored Edison's arch rival, Miami High, until the Thanksgiving night of 1952. That game was different from all the rest. Let's hear from the 2 co-captains for the Red Raiders, Jackie Simpson and Dick Brooks.
The night before the game, I was really nervous, and I think the big thing that I was worrying about is I didn't want to be the one that made the big mistake. What were you thinking of the night before the game?
Jack, to be perfectly frank with you, I doubt if I can remember back that far. The part about the pressure on Miami High, I felt the same way you did, that it was probably more so on their part than our part. And for some reason in my mind, at that time, there was no doubt that we'd win the ball game. I think losing the ball game, for whatever reason, was probably the furthest thing from my mind.
Game time. The Orange Bowl clock is set, and the co-captains Dick Brooks and Jackie Simpson meet the Stingray captains for the flip of the coin. It was the only win of the night for the Miami High Stingarees. They elected to receive and defend the West goal. A crowd of 31,391 filled the stadium with red and white, blue and gold. The first series set an immediate tone for the game as Mickey Huber's kickoff was returned to Miami High's 24. Then a key play by Simpson, who sweeps 13 yards, breaking 2 tackles. This takes the Red Raiders to the Miami High 5-yard line. Two plays later, Mickey Huber for 2 yards, then Jackie Simpson finds his way into the Miami High's end zone for the first time that night. This makes the score 6-0 at this point. Mickey Huber converts with a kick, and now the Red Raiders lead by a score of 7-0. After several exchanges, Miami High had to punt from deep in their own territory, and this gave the Red Raiders the ball on the Stingarees' 39-yard line. After several plays, Edison found themselves on the Stingarees' 17-yard line at the end of the first quarter. Two plays later, we find ourselves, the Red Raiders, knocking on the door once again. This time Simpson goes down to the 13-yard line, and we're ready to score again. The 1-yard plunge, Simpson is in the end zone once again for another score by the Edison Red Raiders. This gives us a score of 13-0, which Mickey Huber now converts that good extra point, which gives us security of 14-0, with 10 minutes remaining in the second quarter. An Edison fumble brings the first tension to the Red Raiders as Miami High recovers the fumble. A series of sweeps and dives by the Stingarees get the ball to the Edison's 1, where Barry Miller races around the right end for the touchdown. wanted to show you these series because this is the only highlights Miami High had that evening. As Miami High went into the end zone, that made the score Miami High 7, Miami Edison 14. With 53 seconds remaining in the half, Miami High kicked off to Edison. The tension of the first half is now basically relieved by a great halftime show by the Miami Edison Red Raider Marching Band and also our world-famous cadet corps. The third quarter was a battle with the Edison receiving the kickoff. After a series of plays, the Red Raiders were forced to punt. It was the first time the Red Raiders had been stopped. It looked like Charlie Tate had inspired his team at the halftime. After several exchanges, it once again became the Simpson and Huber show. Mickey had found gaping holes in the Stingery line, and we found ourselves on the Miami High 27. A few more plunges by Huber, and then the ball became Simpson's once again. He finds his way to the Miami High 15, and the third period is drawing to a close with the Red Raiders still on top, 14-7. Simpson starts the final period with a dazzling invasion of the Stingery's line, charging in for the touchdown. Huber's conversion, and Edison is out front with only 11 minutes left to play. The victory that the three generations of Red Raiders have longed for is close at hand. Coach Pop Parnell now decides it's time to give Simpson and Huber a long-awaited rest. Olin Green is now in for Simpson and gains yardage. There are more clean jerseys on the field now, and the clock is winding down to its final seconds. With 2 plays left, the celebration for the Edison and the Red Raiders begin. It's all over. Edison has beaten its arch rival for the first time in 28 years. The final score was Miami Edison Red Raiders 21, the Miami High Stingeries 7. It was time to rejoice, and rejoice is what the jubilant Red Raider fans did. The playing field became a swarm of red and white, and it did not take long before the Red Raiders to upend the goalposts. Let's hear from the person most responsible for getting those goalposts put in their honored position within the halls of Miami Edison. Larry Simpson, football player, enthusiastic fan, and proud Red Raider.
It was quite a night and quite a celebration. As everybody knows, the goalpost went down and probably went in 6 different directions. Chick Morrell and I believe through the Civitan Club, spent weeks trying to track them down. We never did find all of the pieces to make one goalpost, and had to buy one section. I don't know that anybody even knows that, but some of it's still lost. But at any rate, I believe it was over the Christmas holidays, we had to sneak over the back of the back wall of the school, and we installed them, and when school session came back in, Mr. Wilson was quite upset with us.
These were the headlines, and this is what those lucky people who own TV sets heard and saw on the Ralph Rennick Show news program Friday evening.
Here's what I said on that newscast, November 28th, 1952. According to Webster, an earthquake is a vibration or movement of a part of the Earth's surface. Well, that's exactly what happened in Miami last night. The final score at the Orange Bowl Turkey Day Classic was Miami Edison 21, Miami Senior High 7. Even before the final whistle blew, bedlam broke loose. Students and Red Raider fans from years back swarming down on the playing field. The formation of a howling, surging parade was spontaneous. Downtown Miami streets also felt the heavy tread of victorious marching feet. The goalposts belonged to the victors, and here they join the wild parade. A huge bonfire, another symbol of victory, and a 5-passenger sedan accommodates many, many more passengers than it was designed to carry. For Edison, it was the first victory over its arch rival in 27 years, the first in 31 meetings. More than 31,000 screaming fans witnessed the upset at the bowl. Firemen were called out to keep the flames of the huge bonfire from spreading, but even the water failed to dampen the spirits of the snake dancers. 23 police cars and 8 motorcycle officers were detailed to guard both the Edison and Miami Senior High schools following the game. A long-awaited celebration gives way to pent-up enthusiasm as Edison finally turns the trick. And that was the lead story on that newscast in November of 1952. For your information, the other 2 stories concerned a Bolita raid downtown, so what's new, and also a feature story on Christmas shopping, Thanksgiving just having passed. But it was the Edison victory over Miami High that was the big story of that day. Not only that day, I guess, but the Miami sports story of the century. We also had an interview with John Cameron Swayze live on that newscast. Swayze, at that time, the chief newscaster for the NBC TV network. And so, Edison had good news in 1952 and continues that trend with the good news of the reunion today. And from me to you, good night, and may the good news continue to be yours.
Our game film tonight was supplied by our Archives Chairman, Buster Hill, one of those team members who did his share that night. Our sincere thanks to the Edison grad Grant Gravitt, owner of Tel Air Productions, one of the most successful television commercial and program producers in the country. Grant provided the studio and the camera technicians to put this presentation together. This is Ed Prime. Now let's all have a good time and remember what we're here for, to celebrate our victory over Miami High in 1952. Remember those figures, 21-7.